Asian Gymnastics Federation, thank you so much for this invitation that I do this webinar with Asia for Mr. Abdurrahman al-Shitri, President of Asian Gymnastics Union, for being active and caring for rhythmic gymnastics development. Thank you, Gyozal, for coordinating with me this webinar for the judges, and for being active with me and contacting me to be with the judges on time and being late with them. So I'm very sorry again for the confusion that happened. What I would like to say is that I will go through generalities and through DB, as you saw, and then artistry today, and tomorrow is groups. I'm very happy to answer all your questions, but just not to stop each other while I'm in the middle of the presentation. I kindly ask you, please, to write your questions on the chat. Okay, I will go through the chat, and after every session, I will give you answer. I will give you time before every session that you check your questions. If I do not have answer to your question, I go back to the technical committee. It means that we will discuss it and put it in the errata, because we are publishing new errata for the code of points. Okay, so don't worry, all the questions will be answered.
Okay, thank you very much, Noha. Just last note, please. Some people are still using the name as iPhone, iPad, or user. So we need to recognize the people so we can arrange report letter who participated. So everybody with a name like iPhone, to change his name to his country code, then his name, please. So we can know who has participated. Thank you very much.
You can see my screen, yes?
Yes.
Okay. In the generalities part, we will go ahead and show you how the code of point was established. This is the first code of points that was not done by the technical committee alone. So we will explain to you the timeline preparation of this code of points. It was, of course, the pandemic. First, we started working in Lausanne. And then we started through the pandemic to work with the technical committee. In 2017, we had the round tables of all world championships, 17, 18, and 19, for all national federations during the world championships to take ideas, problems, feedbacks during world championships. And then 2018-19, we had the reform project group for artistry, where top coaches and top gymnasts, marketing, media, television, ballet masters were invited by President Watanabe to organize how do they view artistic part and what is their vision and how do the gymnasts feel it and how do they understand it. So we had this part by the reform project. And then in 2020 in January, we had the World Symposium. And before that, we had around 80 national federation proposals coming to the technical committee and the FIG. So we went to the symposium with a draft of code of points from the national federations, and we took the decisions there. And then we had meetings in 2021 and 20 with the top coaches, top 10 coaches in RGI and top 10 coaches in RGG. And we started practical judging with top judges invited from the FIG to say this is possible, this is not possible, they can see this, they cannot see this, they can evaluate it or not. So we went back to the coaches and gave them feedback, what the judges said. And this is how this code was established. So you can see the symposium, you can see the FIG office working with us. So we thank all the world for their efforts with us and supporting the TC. And you can see the round tables and the meeting with national federations in the World Championships. You can see drafts from the Code of Points from the technical committee from many countries. This is not all simple, but some, because not all of that could pick them from jobs. You can see Francelli, you can see Luba, you can see Makarasi, Kabaiva also. So it was many inputs from the gymnasts. And then here you can see, of course, the top efforts with us who contributed in this. And then, of course, thank you to all the judges, not only who made the practical with us, but also for the judges during Olympic Games, during World Championships, because we could see where are the problems in this Code of Point. And then you can see how we had also fun time with the TC and how the journey went with family time. It was a good time TC together, and this is how we ended up with this Code of Point. So this was a small introductory how this Code of Point was established. It's the first Code of Point that was not done alone by the technical committee. It was done by the share of everyone. Now we have composition of the jury. We have the difficulty judges. There are 4 judges divided into 2 subgroups. Subgroup D1, which is DB1 and DB2, and they work independently and give a common score. And subgroup DA and DA2, which work independently and then give a common score. We know that in the symposium that it was proposed to have 3 judges, but going back to the office and the mathematical professor that is working with the FIG office, he said that it is a disaster to have divided by 3 score because the score will never be rounded. So for an inquiry, it will never be an accurate score. And this is why we went back to 2 judges in a subgroup. For artistry judges, now we have 4 judges, A1, A2, A3, A4. The highest and the lowest are out, eliminated, and the remaining 2 scores are averaged to give the final A score. So we didn't increase the number of judges here. Actually, we took out the reference judges, and by taking out the reference judges, we could add the 4 artistic judges. And then we have the execution, which is the same, E1, E2, E3, E4. There is no change in them. Okay, what does the first sub of judges judge? They judge the technical value of the difficulties. So they have the number and the technical value of body difficulties. What is added to them now is the R, the dynamic elements of rotation. Why? Because now in R, you can have in the start or in the end, a body difficulty with rotation. So it is counted within your body difficulty and it's counted in R. So it's 1 subgroup. And also because now in R, you can have the 3 jetés en tronade. So also it is counted as body difficulty and R. So it's 1 subgroup who will have to concentrate on this. The recognition of waves, you need to have minimum of 2 waves, so they will have it or not. So these judges evaluate the entire exercise independently without consulting the other judge and give a common difficulty body score. What does the second subgroup of judges do? They count the number and technical value of the difficulty of apparatus, the presence of required fundamental apparatus technical elements. So now fundamentals is coming back to them. It's no longer with artistry because apparatus fundamentals can be done in anything. So these are the best judges to see it easily. They judge the entire exercise independently without consulting each other and give a common DA score. And this is new, time and line judges, because we had some situations in the World Championships for the time and line when they have a penalty and it is not penalty and the coach is in doubt, no, my exercise is correct, no, my timing is correct. So when you have a doubt as a coach, you make a request to the superior jury for the time and line deductions. This has to be immediately after you see the score. If the score sheet is published, the results cannot be changed. Immediately after you see there is a penalty and you are in doubt of it, this is not an inquiry. So your federation will not pay money if your inquiry is rejected or something. No, this is only a doubt to check. So this is a request to check of the doubt. So this is without money. So you can check immediately if you are doubting for your gymnast. We took this from artistic gymnastics because they have it for the floor exercise. So we took this from them because coaches are doubting, especially when Olympic Games, we had this in Rio, in World Championships in Baku, we had it in Junior World Championships, we had it. Actually in Junior World Championships, the line judge put penalty wrong, but as soon as it's published and the score sheet is published, the coach came and complained next day, it's not possible to remove the penalty. So you have to be very careful. The dress of the gymnast. This is now a very big question. We are receiving every day questions about the leotards. So a correct gymnastic leotard must be in non-transparent material, like the purple. This is the non-transparent material. Therefore, leotards that have some part in lace will have to be lined from the trunk to the chest. Pelvic and crotch area should be covered with material. So what does it mean? Let me show you something. Okay. Can you see me standing? It means that, okay. It means that this part, all this part of the pelvic area must be in material, covering the hip area. If it goes inside this pelvic area and you start to have the beige color, it's not acceptable. That, like this gymnast now. Her leotard, you see her leotard, this small part, she's not covering her pelvic area. It became beige color all around. So this is the one not acceptable. This is what we are asking. It's not that there are beige color here or there. We accept it. Only the pelvic area of the girl, this part must be covered in material, not to be in beige. And to continue to the hip part to be covered, not to be in beige. This is the only thing that we wanted to explain. Nothing new, nothing changing line, no problem in other designs for her pelvic area. All twists without these can be accepted now. So narrow sleeves are, our narrow straps are also allowed. So this is new. Now we can accept narrow straps. Okay, what else we do not accept? We do not accept anything separate, anything additional to the leotard, socks, gloves, decorative leg warmers, belts, anything that is not in the design of the leotard, anything additional to the leotard. Like you see this leg warmer there, It is separated from the leotard. It is not one piece leotard. These are separate. The belt is additional to the leotard. It's not part of the material. Of course, the hairstyle must be neat and compact. Decorative details are allowed. We allow the decorative details on the bun, but big decorative, bulky decorative like this are not allowed. It has to be close to the bun, near to the hairstyle, not big and going down to the forehead. So we appreciate everyone's input, contributes in this cycle. And by this, we finish the generalities part. Anyone has question for the generalities parts before we go to the DB? You can write them in the chat. It seems not, so we can go to the next part. Okay. For the body difficulty, now we go to the DB. For the DB for seniors, we require 9 highest body difficulties. For the juniors, we require highest 7 counted. And we do not require a maximum value, no 1 point, no 1.5, it's open for them. So we require highest 9. Okay, remember that for juniors, we still require 2 in ball and 2 in ribbon with the non-dominant hand. What does it mean, non-dominant hand? It means that if I'm a right-handed gymnast, I'm working all the time with the right hand, I need 2 with the left. If I'm always working with the left, then I need 2 with the right. This is why it's called non-dominant hand. I still need minimum 1 jump, minimum 1 balance, minimum 1 rotation, whether for seniors or for juniors. For combined body difficulty, which we will explain later, maximum 3 combined for seniors and maximum 1 for junior. What happens if I have more? They will count it as separate body difficulties. I still need 2 full body waves. So 2 full body waves can be of value or without value. We will explain them later. And the dynamic elements of rotation, they are maximum 5 in performance order. Here they are not the highest, but 5 in performance order. And maximum 4 in performance order for junior. So it's a general rule. It's a general rule to be valid. All DB must be performed with a fixed and defined shape, which means that the trunk, the legs, and all corresponding body segments are in correct positions. So we must have a fixed and defined shape. The DB must be performed with a minimum of one fundamental and non-fundamental element at the beginning, during, or towards the end of the DB in order to be valid. What does it mean, beginning, during, or towards the end? So can it be in the preparation of the pivot and this is the beginning? No, it cannot be. It means, for example, if I'm doing 5 rotations attitude, I can do it in the beginning, in the first one, in the second one, in the third, or on the 5th. Doesn't matter if I do it on the first rotation, but I cannot do it in the preparation of the rotation. I cannot do it in the steps before the jump. I have to do it in the jump phase. So is it possible to perform 2 or more identical jumps or leaps or pivots in series, but each one is evaluated separately. And with each one in the series counts as 1 dB. It is possible to repeat identical apparatus handling during a series, and this is an exception for series only, that you repeat the apparatus handling for the series. To be valid for body difficulties, must be performed without the following technical faults. A major alteration of the basic characteristics specific to each group of DB. Loss of balance with support on one or both hands or on the apparatus. Total loss of balance with fall of the gymnast while performing the DB. A loss of apparatus during the DB. Apparatus handling not performed according to the definition. What does all of this mean? It means that if you do not have characteristics specific to each body group, not complete 360 degree, that you lost balance or you supported with loss of the apparatus during the body difficulty or loss of the apparatus. Or what does it mean, apparatus handling not according to definition? It means that the mills are not complete, the roll is not on 2 body segments, the spirals are not 4 loops. These are all canceling the body difficulties. Remember, that body difficulty number 26, the 3 successive split sleeps with change of takeoff, is value of 1 dB. This is not a series, it's only 1 dB, and it cannot be used in a series, and which we will explain after in the combined. It cannot be used in the combined body difficulty. This is 1 body difficulty of value 0.7. This is a valid slow turn technique because the impulse is slow. So she takes 0.4 plus 0.2 for the slow turn. What about this one? Not valid. Why? Because there is no apparatus handling. An invalid slow turn technique. Why? Because she's jumping. She's not slow turning. So there is no apparatus handling. Okay. Also, I was asked what is al-Katib difficulty. So I asked the gymnast who performed it before in Singapore, 2010, to to go to the gym because she didn't have a good quality video. And this is the element. Okay. So the value of this rotation is increased by 0.2 for each additional rotation above the base. It's 180. And you need to perform 180 degree only for 0.5. Additional, you put plus 0.2. You need to have a front split with or without help. The trunk is at the horizontal. What's an isolated dB under the flight of a high throw or boomerang is valid according to the following. What is this? This is new to the code of points. We didn't have it before. We had it in the old code of points 2004, I think. We had isolated dB under the flight. So you can do a throw and do a jump, a throw or a balance, a throw or a rotation. dB performed under the flight of the apparatus from a high throw. It cannot be a low throw or anything. It only has to be high throw, which is double the height of the gymnast. An isolated dB under the flight of a high throw or boomerang of the apparatus is valid in the exercise as long as the dB is executed according to the basic characteristics required to be valid. And as I said, the dB to be valid under a high throw, not a small throw. Examples. So this is a jump. And this is a balance. Remember, it's very important that it is not allowed to have another dB under the flight of any value, either at the throw or the catch, even if it is performed for the purpose of DA only. If the apparatus is lost under the dB under the flight, the dB is not valid. We will not say, but she did it, the difficulty under the flight, so the dB is valid. No, if the apparatus is lost, the main principle is applied, the dB will not be valid. Also, combined body difficulty are not allowed under the flight of the apparatus. So, this example, what happens here? We said it is not possible to perform another dB of any value with the throw. So in that case, we go by the performance order. The dB under the flight is not valid. We will evaluate the one with the throw. We give the first one. dB on the throw can be valid if performed by the definition. So we will give the first one, which is performed by definition, and the second one, which is under the flight, will not be valid. Yes, the second one will not be counted. She did 2 jumps, second not counted, yes, because as we said, under flight, you can only have 1. If she wants to count, she needs to have a series, and series are 3. This is not a series. So it is not possible to count the second one. Look at the next example. What happened here? She had one under the flight and one on the catch. So we will give if an isolated DB is performed under the flight, it is not possible to perform another DB of any value with that throw and the catch, regardless of the possible presence of a DA element. Remember the basic. So what will happen here? It will happen that we will not give the value in the catch. We will give the one under the flight, but we will not give the value under the catch. Okay. 1 minute break and we come back if you have more questions on this.
Excuse me, is it possible to open mic for the question? Because it's hard for me to explain what I would like to ask on the chat.
Go ahead.
I just would like to confirm about the under the flight handling. So if the gymnast doing the second video, the under the flight, and then she catch with another difficulty, it means the one we count is the catch. Is it correct?
She makes the under the flight and
yes,
then catch.
And then catch with another difficulty. It means that we only count the catch
under the
difficulty?
Flight, because she did only the first under the flight.
Okay,
you go what
if
she
we
did first.
Okay, so if we throw it first using one difficulty and we do the under the flight with difficulty, it means we count the throw, the difficulty.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. You're welcome. Exactly. Why it is not possible to throw at one element and catch at the other? It is possible. We are not discussing here the possibility of throw on one difficulty and catch on another difficulty. This is possible. We are here discussing only under the flight, which is specific and new in the code of points. Under the flight is you throw, do a body difficulty under the flight, and then catch. So this is an exceptional case. And with this exceptional case, you can only have under-flight body difficulty. You cannot have anything on the throw, and you cannot have anything on the catch. Is it clear for the question coming from user? I don't know the name, so I cannot say who is it. So is it clear now? Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, madam. I have a question. If the gymnast make throw in the gentleman under the flight of apparatus and catch with the gentleman, how will it be? It's valid, both valid or not?
If you have only throw under the flight and catch in a jeté entrenade, this is only 2.
Yes.
It's not series.
Yes.
So if it's not series, then you can only have 1 under the flight.
Okay. Thank you.
You understand? Because you have to have series to be valid.
Mm-hmm.
To take throw on the beginning, under the flight, and catch in the end. This is an exceptional case for jeté entrenade. But to have under flight and another one catch, it's not possible because it's not series.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Noha, Mama called here. Back to the question that Billy asked just now, and on the second video, the gymnast did a throw and a jeté under the flight, and then caught in a balance. So you mentioned saying only the jump under the flight valid, not both.
Correct. No. Correct. If we go to the general rule, if an isolated DB is performed under the flight, it is not possible to perform another DB of any value.
Oh, okay.
With that throw and or catch, regardless of the possible presence of a DA element on the throw and or the catch. So it means, what does this mean? It means that even if you have 0.1 cabriole, you cannot, because this is only a specific exception for under the flight. You cannot have anything on the throw or the catch with the DB. Only body difficulty under the flight. You can catch for a DA. Of course, you can catch or throw with a DA or catch with a DA, but not with DB.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can catch with a walkover. Maybe you can catch with a backward. Maybe you can catch outside visual with a rotation. You can, but you cannot use difficulty body.
Okay, does it mean that it can be any body difficulty, need not be jump or whatever? Can I do a balance under the flight?
Yes.
And consider.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like this example. This example is a balance under the flight.
Okay, this one clear.
So this is an example of a balance under the flight.
Было ли кинуть или поймать, это понятно. А там она...
Is it possible to close the mics, please? Because I cannot hear all in the same time.
Madam, I have a question. One more.
Yes.
Yes. The gymnast.
First, don't call me Madam. I'm Noha. I'm still your colleague. And I don't like the word Madame Noha. I am just Noha for everyone. president or not president, I'm still Noha.
Okay, Noha, I have one more question. The gymnast make sleeves jutentron. The gymnast make throw and the jutentron under the flight, and she catch with jutentron, and after next jutentron, she made another apparatus difficulty, and another apparatus
Handling.
Fundamental, something.
But this is no more series. The for jeté and tronade, the exception is that you have throw, catch, and under the flight and catch on the third. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the exception.
Slow, jutentron. When the gymnast catch jutentron second, third jutentron, she made another apparatus movement.
Handling.
Yes, handling, yeah.
But this did not take the exception of jeté. If we go to the jeté series, one moment. Your question is regarding if it will be valid as R or not?
Yes.
But it will not be valid as R.
Not for R.
Not for R.
Yes.
Not for R because first you don't have two under the flight. So the basic.
She has one under the flight.
So the basic definition of R is not met.
Yes.
So like this,
yes.
You understand me?
Yes, I understand. But she made jutentron
for a series. For a series,
catch, yes, catch with jutentron and another apparatus handling third jutentron. I think
yes, it is possible to repeat identical. If you go to the code of points, page 36.3921. Page 36.3921. It is possible to repeat identical apparatus handling during a series of a jump or leaps and pivots, and each jump or leap or pivot in the series is evaluated separately. So it means that it is possible to have it identical and it is possible not to have it identical. I will take your question regarding under the flight for the series and say it's possible or not, because under the flight is an exception and we said it cannot have. So this is a good question. If we have it under the flight catch and then can it be valid for a series or not? But for R, it will not be valid. So she did 3 jeté and tronade, but she did not take value for R.
Okay. Thank you.
You understand me?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next question, if we do a DB under the flight and catch with a DA, the DA is valid, yes, if it does not include any body difficulty with any value. The DA will be valid, like catch in a rotation outside visual without hands. Yes, it is valid. Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
All the BD have different apparatus handlings. And if we throw the clubs in vertical axis in the first balance, and in the second, we throw with horizontal axis, is it same or different apparatus handling?
Can you
Under
keep
the
this
flight?
question? Yes, can you keep this question when we go to apparatus handlings? If I don't answer your question, you ask me again, because I have this part for apparatus handling, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just writing down, Rita, your question, and then I'll continue with the combined body difficulty. But please, if you can write your questions in chat, it's more easier for me to read them. And if I need to take a screenshot of them, it's more easier for me to take them. Any more questions regarding this part? No, okay. Combined difficulties. The combined difficulties are counted as 1 dB. So difficulties included in the combined difficulty can be from different groups of body elements, or from the same group of body elements. What does this mean? It means that you can have jump with jump, balance with balance, jump with rotation, jump with balance, balance with rotation, and rotation with balance, vice versa. But if they are from the same group, they must be in different shapes. Each of the two difficulty body of combined body difficulties must be performed with one fundamental or non-fundamental apparatus element. And why we did this? Because if the connection is not good or one body difficulty is missed, not the whole thing is not counted, because the spectators, the media, the fans, they do not understand when we cross out the whole thing. So it will be counted the second one or the first one performed correctly with apparatus handling. How do we count it? The value of the combined body difficulty is the value of each independent body difficulty, as long as the connection is executed according to the requirements in 2.5.10 until 2.5.14 in the Code of Points, page 23. Without change of support leg or extra step between difficulties. Sometimes it's necessarily including a plie between the jump or leap and balance or rotation, with balances only in releve together, with rotation only in releve, except if penché flat foot is second rotation. Without the change of support leg or extra step between the difficulties. So before we go into the details, how do we count the combined? The combined is the value of the first one plus value of the second one. We do not take anything for the connection in between. No additional bonus, no connection, nothing. Only the value of the first and the value of the second. So, if we have combined body difficulty, jump, leap. We have jump, leap plus balance, jump, leap plus rotation, or vice versa. We have without the change of support leg or extra step between difficulties. It's necessary, including a plie. Of course, between the jump, leap, and balance or rotation, they have to go down from the jump, and going down on the jump, they have to take the plie. With balance only in releve, you cannot have a balance on a flat foot. With the rotation only in releve is pivot. Any jumps performed with takeoff from or landing with 2 feet are not authorized in combined body difficulties. Remember that you cannot have anything with takeoff with 2 feet or takeoff or landing. Remember the jump leap difficulty that I showed you, number 26 in the beginning? The 2 or 3 successive split leaps, they are not authorized to be used in a combined body difficulty. So we have examples, jump, leap, rotation. Nice. So this is okay because without change of the support leg or extra step, rotation is in releve. So the combined body difficulty is 0.4 for the jump and 0.5 for the pivot. Good. Is this valid as combined? Good. No, because we have change of support leg and rotation is on flat foot. So the main principle was not, we cannot have change in support leg and we cannot have rotation on flat foot. Good. So these would be valid as 2 separate DBs. Of course, we have to see apparatus handling, but in the principle, these will be valid as 2 body difficulties, 0.5 and 0.4. Okay, without change of the support leg, it's okay. Rotation on releve. Of course, the pivot needs to be completed a little bit, but in principle, this is the principle. We're trying to find examples. So this is the principle, value of the jump plus value of the rotation. Okay, the video here is cut. It's not complete here, but we know this jump with the balance. The kabaivat jump, the jump with the balance. It's okay also because without change of the support leg or the balance. So it's balance in releve also. So it's a combined 0.2 plus the 0.3. Balance plus jump. Is this possible? No. Why? Because we said takeoff from both feet are not authorized. So they are treated as separate 2 body difficulties. Without change of the support leg or the extra step, balance is on the releve. So the combined DB is valid. So here there is a note, and please pay attention to it. The combined body difficulties with balance and balance must be performed without the change of support leg, heel support, plie, or extra step between the difficulties, with both DB and the connection in relevé. We have this third dot with change in trunk position or leg direction. This dot is not here. This dot refers to balances number 4 to 5, 9 to 10, 12 to 15, number 18. This is coming in the errata, but just for you to understand that it is not a general note with change in trunk position or leg direction. So this dot comes to the note that balances number 4 to 5, 9 to 10, 12 to 15, 18 with the hand support can be used as part of a combined difficulty, but another balance must be either with a change in the trunk position or leg direction. It refers to the note, but not up. Remember that the balances with slow turn cannot be used as part of a combined difficulty. Balances 19 to 26 performed on other parts of the body or balances performed on flat foot of the support leg are not also allowed for combined difficulties. Dynamic balances number 27, 28, and 30 to 34 also cannot be used with another difficulty for combined. And we have exception only for fouetté balance. This difficulty may be performed as the first part, only as the first part, and this is very important, of the combined difficulty. If after the fouetté balance, the connection with another balance is executed in relevé without heel support or plie. So the last shape in the fouetté is combined in connection, is done together in connection with the other balance in relevé without heel support or plie. So these are the balances we are speaking about: 4 to 5, 9 to 10. You cannot have with or without hands. So you need to have change in the trunk position or leg direction. You cannot have the same penché with help and penché without help. Number 13. You can see. You cannot have ring with help and ring without help. Must be change in the leg position or trunk direction. Balance plus balance. We have a problem here. Heel support between both body difficulties. So it is not a combined, it's separate two difficulty bodies. Connection is not met. So 2 dBs. What about here? Balance fouetté plus balance. Again, heel support was executed, plie in the middle. So they are not combined body difficulty. So they are 2 dBs. This is okay. Without heel support, she stayed in relevé. So the DB is valid as combined. So we have without change of support leg, heel support, plie, or extra step between both DB connection and releve, with change in trunk position or leg direction. Let's see. From up to down, this is valid. She changed trunk position. So, okay, combined body difficulty. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to read your questions until this part. So mainly, the questions are, does the combined DB count as one difficulty? Yes, they are one body difficulty. If the connection is not performed correctly or with heel support, then they are two separate difficulty bodies. Okay. No, you cannot take extra step or flat foot. Heel support, no. If there is heel support, there are two difficulty bodies. So I mean, this question is answered. If a gymnast do penché balance combined penché with ring, is it possible? Yes, because there is a change of leg direction. During which part of the combined difficulty should the apparatus handling be performed? In each body difficulty, there must be apparatus handling. So on the first one, there must be apparatus handling, and on the second one, there must be apparatus handling. Both balances must be on releve. You cannot have a balance on a flat foot and second one on the releve. Both balances, if you go to the main principle, balance plus balance, you will have to have both balances in releve. You cannot have one balance on flat foot and one balance on releve. Okay, so this I answered questions until now. Now, this is very important, this part. When the rotation is first and one balances first, because there is a small difference between them. So we have combined body difficulties with balance first and rotation second, and combined body difficulties with rotation first and balance second. What's the difference? If we have the balance first and the rotation second, without change of support leg or extra step, this is clear for everything, with possible heel support and plie during the connection. Because of course, if I have the balance, I need to have the force to go to rotation. So I need to make the plie to take the force. But with both DB and releve, remember this is very important. What if I have the rotation first and the balance second? Again, the main principle without change of support leg or extra step. with both dB and relevé, but this time without heel support or plie during the connection. Why? Because the rotation is first. You do not need to take force for the balance. You need to fix the balance. So it is not allowed to take plie during connection between rotation and then the balance. There is a slight difference between balance first or rotation first. This is, be careful as a coach when you're doing the routines, because any pre-acrobatic that has no value is still counted among your 3 pre-acrobatic elements. Example, this one. So this is a balance plus rotation. Remember we said balance plus rotation, it is possible heel support and plie during the connection. So here is a balance. The first one is balance, rotation. Doesn't matter the third difficulty. We're not speaking about the third difficulty, we're speaking of the combined. The combined, she did a pre-acrobatic before the balance. Be careful, this had no value for her. No DA, nothing, no, but it is still counted among her maximum 3 pre-acrobatics for DA, because we take them in performance order. So this combined DB is valid. Why? Because it was without change of support leg, with possible heel support and plie during the connection, with both DB in relevé. Okay, let's see some acceptable combined DBs. Now, both balances in relevé, connection in relevé, apparatus handling is different in both BD, combined DB. Why these are possible? Because they are not in the exceptional body difficulties that we mentioned earlier. Then we have rotation in relevé plus balance in relevé, connection in relevé, apparatus handling in both BD, combined DB.
You're in that catch right behind the head, shows those beautiful supple shoulders.
Remember when we said rotation plus rotation, and it's possible to have penché only as second rotation, possible on flat foot, only if it is the second combined. So here, rotation in relevé plus rotation in relevé, connection in relevé, apparatus handling in both DB, the combined is valid.
during that catch, right behind the head, shows those beautiful supple shoulders.
If we have both balances on flat foot and connection on flat foot, it's counted as 2 isolated DBs. These are both on flat foot and connection is also on flat foot. So these are 2 isolated DBs. Okay, what happened here? Watch it one more time. Sorry. So we have both rotations on releve, but she took additional step in between. The connection between both of them were not correct. And she only had apparatus handling in the first, the unstable. But when she came to the second, she kept the ball between her arms. This is nothing. So only the first one will be valid. Watch it one more time. There is no apparatus handling in the second. Yes, penché must be second body difficulty. No, combined on flat foot for 2 balances cannot be on flat foot. They are not combined, they are 2 separate, like the examples we saw. Yes, is it okay to use penché number 13 and penché with knee bent number 14 for combined? Yes, like we saw the example. Does the apparatus handling be same or different for the 2 combined? They have to be different because if you have any repetition for apparatus handling, the difficulty will not be valid. Only for series, this is an exception. So by this, we finished combined body difficulty. Okay. Gyozal, I'm not sure of the timing, so let me know when should we finish the first session.
We can do a break, or okay. we are going.
Okay,
we are continue.
Okay, you manage, because with this time change I did for you, I'm very sorry. I don't know when we should finish the first session now.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah. How long do you think it will be the break? It was the 1 hour. So I don't know. You want to keep it 1 hour as before, Gyozal and Noha, please?
But I didn't finish this part yet, so this is why I'm asking. We are still on the time we can go more, or we are late today, so we will not take more today, and tomorrow we start earlier?
I think we will start tomorrow morning.
Okay.
But we ask our judges and coaches now on chat.
Okay, we can take 5 minutes break. You tell me how much. Maybe we can finish body difficulty today. It's okay to take 5 minutes break, and then we can finish body difficulty today and come back tomorrow early for artistry and body group, if it's okay for you.
Yeah. Yes, I think yes.
Yeah, just a question, please, Gyozal. There is the second session today afternoon, or only we'll finish after a few minutes?
This is what we are discussing, Marwan, now. If people
I'll...
can stay, or they would like to come tomorrow earlier because of this. I'm open, I can stay. So just discuss and let me know.
Yeah, if we can do like voting, if you like to continue today, please can you raise your hand, please, so we can see how many people is interested to stay today. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's counting, so let us wait 1 minute for voting to see the results. So everybody who likes to continue today, please vote, please. Now we have 23 votes, 24 votes for continuing today sessions. So we will go with the majority if we reach more than half. So we will continue. So now we have 30 votes, 32.
Noha, we can finish today body difficulty, but we will continue tomorrow in another part, the next part. What do you think about this?
No problem for me.
Many judges and coaches wants today. What is difficulty today? And another Please continue, but give us 5 minutes break. Body difficulty today and artistic tomorrow.
Okay, Noha, we continue difficulties today. So what do you think? Your decision?
Okay, to continue body difficulty today, just let me explain. We need another 1 hour and a half. Another 1 hour and a half, yes, for body difficulty. And then let's wait and see if you can go for artistry or not. Let's finish first, please, the body difficulty. And then we see if you are able to continue with me artistry or not. I'm with you, I'm not going anywhere. I sent my daughter to training and I'm free.
Okay, thank you very much, Noha. So for now, 5 minutes break, please, for everybody. And we come after 5 minutes to continue difficulties session. Thank you very much. We meet after 5 minutes.
Can we start again? Can we come back again and put down the hands and resume the presentation?
I think yes. Everyone here.
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect. Okay, the last question I received in combined body difficulties in last video gymnast for Lala, yes. Sticking hop, changing place. Is it considered a step? Yes, of course, it's considered change of support. But if the gymnast does not change the place, does it consider combined difficulty? Yes, this is why we put it as an example of possibility that this can be combined body difficulty, but because of this mistake, they became two combined. Another question is that you want to send me some example of picture of the leotard. Yes, please, you can send, no problem. Okay, now we go to the body difficulty, we continue. It seems that you are tired, and the time difference, so let's check. When you are studying the code of points, remember that some values have changed. Some stayed the same, but some changed. So if you can see here these examples, this jump changed from 0, 1 to 2. This jump changed from 2 to 3. Others changed from 3 to 4. So be careful when you're studying for the code of points. This jump changed the switch with legs from 3 to 4. Change switch from stag 3 to 4. With straight legs, change switch from 4 to 5. And some were decreased from 2 to 1. So the turbo-shon balance and turbo-shon pivot, they were changed to 0.1. Illusion was increased to 0.2. Fouetté horizontal was increased to 0.2. Pivot with attitude and side was changed from 2 to 3. Penché, Sakura, flat foot or relevé was changed from 4 to 5 and 5 to 6. This dynamic balance was changed from 2 to 4. And this jump was changed from 3 to 5, Zhukova jumps, because it's really difficult to have the shape of the leg down and keeping the leg here. It's really, really difficult. Okay, we have these elements in the code. They were not new, but removed and they were put back. So they have their values back again in the code. And if you remember, the code was without names. And coaches and gymnasts were sad that the code was removed, not to have elements after them named, like in artistic gymnastics. So we put all the elements named after gymnasts back again in the code of points with their name. Zhukova, Kabaeva, Zaripova, Agogolesio, Busonova jumps, Yuchasheva, all elements are named again after the gymnast. So they feel that we really appreciate their efforts. All the names are put again: Sakura, Kramenko, Kabaeva, Gizukova, Ashram, Ralenkova, Kanaiva, all of them. They are put back again in the code with the names. Okay, now we speak of apparatus technical elements. They must be different during DB, different levels. And we understood in the current code of points what is different levels, and we had problems identifying the levels. So now we explained it clear. Head to shoulders is one level. Chest to waist is second level. Below waist and feet is third level. So these are 3 different levels for apparatus handling. Let's check this example. She has first time below waist and feet, and second time again below waist and feet. So the 5 jetés entronnant will not be valid. The second time is not valid. Remember again, below waist and feet. Head and shoulders is number 1, chest weight number 2, level 2, level 3 is below waist feet. Okay. Full body waves. We require the full body waves in the exercise. The exercise must have 2 full body waves. What is a full body wave? It's a sequential contraction and decontraction of all muscles of the body along the chain of body segments, like the electric current, like electricity, from head through the pelvis to the feet. So all the body must be part of the wave. Only the arm can be determined by the apparatus handling or choreography. So only the arm can be an exception, not participating in the wave because of the apparatus handling. So we have sequential movement, head, pelvis, feet examples. So the full body wave can be from the difficulty tables, 11 and 13. Why not 9? Because jumps cannot be waves. So it's only from the rotations and the balances. Or their modifications, different planes, different start position, arm movements, how the coach can think. Provided that the wave is performed by the whole body. Full wave forward, standing, or with passing from the floor. Full wave back, standing, or with passing to the floor. Side waves. Spiral wave on 2 legs or 1 leg. Spiral turn. Full wave performed on the floor. These are all possibilities. Okay, one question we received. Can the 2 body waves be identical? Yes, they can. We didn't say they can be different or not. So they can be identical. So we can have body difficulty valid as full waves also. So I would identify the waves as a DB judge. So these are full waves from the DB tables. The spiral turn from the DB valid as full waves. One more time. Okay, what if we have incomplete movement? So we will have the full wave. In the middle, there is incomplete and not valid at all because not all body participated with contraction and decontraction. If it's an incomplete movement or lack of amplitude, but I can see the wave, so I will recognize it as a DB judge, but technical execution will take 0.1 for incomplete movement or lack of amplitude in the shape of waves. But still, it will be valid. You see, the last part did not move. So this is an incomplete movement. Here, the trunk, the back, the pelvis did not move. So it's an incomplete movement, but I could see and identify the waves. What about not valid at all? This was only arms. It's not full body wave. Here she did the spiral turn, but without any sequential contraction. So it's also not valid. So I cannot say that these are valid body waves. Okay. So we have one question. If gymnasts do wave using DB, but is not valid, is it counted as missing wave? But if I can identify it as a wave, I will count it as a wave. Maybe the DB has a problem in the apparatus handling or something. I will count it as a wave, no problem. What is the importance of apparatus handling during the two required waves for them to be valid? I can have wave during dance steps, during connection. So I don't need apparatus handling during the waves. I just need to have waves. Okay, now we go to the second part of body difficulty. Just one moment, I open my presentation since I answered the questions on the chat. Okay, now we continue with dynamic elements of rotation. The second part where the DB judges checks dynamic elements of rotation. So we have the definition, 3 requirements. High throw, more than 2 heights of the gymnast, and a minimum of 2 base rotations with 360 degrees for each rotation must be performed under the flight. So we need 2 rotations under the flight. Catch of the apparatus, of course. After the final rotation or coordinated with any phase of the final rotation. Note, for hoop and ball, the apparatus may be caught directly after a rebound on the floor, provided that the catch is executed without hands. For the ribbon, the stick must be caught to be valid. For rope, be careful because for rope we have juniors with rope this year in group exercise. Both ends of the rope must be caught to be valid. Loss of one end, the R is not valid. So we can have for rope mixed catch, open rope, or tied rope. But they have to catch the end immediately. The loose end of the rope cannot be. What does it mean, 2 base rotations under the flight? The first rotation is not under the flight, but she had 2 another rotations under the flight. So this R is valid because she had 2 base rotations under the flight. We will give value for the third one, which she threw in the walkover in it. But the definition of the base R must have 2 base rotations under flight. What about this one? This one, no, because she threw in the jump, she made rotation and catch on the third. So the definition is not met. We must have 2 base rotations under the flight. Okay, types of body rotations, the 2 base rotations and any additional rotations may be any version of the following groups of complete 360 degrees, either pre-acrobatic, which are listed here on the table, or vertical rotations, or difficulty body rotations of 360 or more. What does it mean, the pre-acrobatic? It means that we have specified them into groups. We have walkover forwards. It includes all the variations inside. We have walkover backwards. All variations are inside. Cartwheel, standing, legs together on the knee. Roll forward, roll backwards. Chest roll forward, chest roll backwards. Fish flops, fish flop backwards. Lateral rotations passing through a bridge. Lateral rotation with trunk arched back. Dive leap. And rotation with raised leg like illusion but not difficulty body. These are the pre-acrobatic elements, 13 groups. You can choose one of each group, but you cannot repeat in another R the same group. You can repeat inside the R, one R, but you cannot repeat this group in another R. So we are saying here, you can only repeat a pre-acrobatic isolated in a series or repeated within one R in any order. I can do cartwheel in the beginning and then cartwheel on elbows. If a group of pre-acrobatic element is repeated, isolated, or in a series in another R, regardless of the different variations, this R will not be valid. So it is possible to perform one version of the walkover forward. I chose walker forward with switch of legs, chané, chané. I cannot go and repeat walkover with going down on the knees in another R. Finished. I used this group of walkovers. Dive leap. This is a pre-acrobatic element, consists of a leap. So we need a flight phase. The split is not required. We do not require split, but we require a flight phase with trunk bent forward, followed directly by one roll. So this pre-acrobatic consists of a leap plus roll. This is one rotation. This is why there is this difference between forward roll and the dive leap. The dive leap consists of the leap plus the roll. So a dive leap may be performed in R as the first rotation, but a minimum of one additional rotation is required to fulfill the 2 base rotations under the flight. So I need the dive leap, which is leap plus roll, like I explained, plus additional rotation to have the 2 base, maybe dive leap plus roll, plus another roll, forward roll, or dive leap with the roll, plus rotation on lateral rotations on the popper, the seated lateral rotations. So dive leap plus 2 additional forward rolls is R3 plus throw under the leg. Okay, and then we have this note about number 13. So you can have the illusion, but not as a DB with straight leg, but the variations of it. With the bent, with ending on the floor, trunk raised in different directions, different than the illusion. Because DB is also another type of rotations. So you can have one time this pre-acrobatic illusion, different than illusion, and you can have the DB illusion in 1R. So remember that we have the pre-acrobatic elements, we have the vertical rotations, and we have the DB rotations of 360 degrees or more. For vertical rotations, each group of vertical rotation may be used one time in R, either isolated, in a series, or repeated within 1R in any order. If a group is repeated, isolated, or in a series in another R, regardless of a different variation, this R will not be valid. So we have them also, the vertical rotations cannot be repeated in another R. We have the flight, jump, skip, and hop with turn. We have freely chosen legs, standing steps, turning steps, or rotation with 1 foot or 2 feet. We have the seated lateral roll, and we have lying lateral roll. You cannot repeat them in another R. What about DB in R? DB with rotation may be used as a type of body rotation in R. So we have DB under the flight, which is DB with rotation with value of 0.1 only. And this one counts as rotation, body rotation. So you can use body difficulties with 0.1 like chané, like not chané, sorry, passé jump, passé pivot. All these are body difficulties with 0.1. These are counted as body rotations. Okay, what about on the throw or the catch? Or the catch, not both. DB with rotations only with value of 0.2 or more. Counts as body rotation and additional criteria for DB. When you have DB with rotation of 0.2 or more, but it's only allowed on the throw or on the catch, it counts as body rotation for the R and additional criteria for body difficulty. So here are the examples, as you can see, of body rotations with 360 of value of 0.1 that may be used as types of rotations. These are the jumps. Under the flight, you cannot have body difficulty with 0.2 under the flight, only if it's a series. This is an exception. For under the flight, you can only have them in R if they are a series. These are the examples of 0.1 body difficulties in the code of points for rotations. The DB with the rotations of 0.2 or more may be used maximum of 1 time in each R. And as I explained, they will take 2 criteria, rotation and extra DB 0.1. The DB with rotation 360 degrees or more with a value of 0.2, it can be during the throw or the catch, and not both throw and catch. It's only 1 time. If the DB is performed during the throw, but the apparatus is lost at the end of the R, the DB is still valid, but R is not valid. Why? Because the DB is connected to apparatus handling, which is throw. So I will validate the DB. I'm the same judge. I will validate the DB. I will give the value with the throw of this difficulty body. But the R is lost. So I cannot give value of R because definition of R, high throw, 2 base rotations and catch. So I lost the basic definition of R. I didn't catch. So R will not be valid. This is an example of a DB of 0.1 under the flight. This is an example of a passé jump of a DB under flight. Okay, this is coming in the errata. You see in the table, it's written without rotation, but in the text, it's not written. On page 48 in the table for the DB, it is not allowed to perform DB without rotation. It's clear. But in the text, we forgot to put the word without. So it is not possible to include a dB without rotation. So the R will not be valid with a dB without rotation. Okay, the dB without rotation may be valid if coordinated with the throw or catch. What happens if I have a body difficulty? On the text page 4.84, page 48. Last dot, it is not possible to include a dB rotation. It is not possible to include a dB without rotation. This is coming in the errata. The R will not be valid with a dB without rotation. So R will not be valid. The dB will be valid because it has a catch. According to the definition, throw or catch for a dB, the R will be, the dB without rotation may be valid if coordinated with the throw or catch. The same principle for dB, but the R will not be valid even if it's caught. Okay? So we have now the series of 3 identical dB with rotation. Turning leaps and illusions. Okay, the turning leaps and illusions dB. So we have R3 plus series plus dB. This is exception in the code, just for the turning leaps and illusions. So R3 plus series plus dB. The dB must be identical. 3 identical dB. In case a gymnast attempts 3 turning leaps with the back bend of the trunk, and one is validated only as a turning leap due to back bend with deviation, then it is not a series. And the R cannot be valid because the exception for only valid turning identical leaps. We are now speaking about exception of turning leaps. We are not discussing the 2 DA or DAs, or we are not discussing anything else. We are only discussing R, because I see questions on the chat and you are confusing yourself. This is an exception for series of 3 identical dB. This is an exception. You can throw one the first, only the one under the flight is one under flight, and catch on the third. Illusion and turning leaps have an exception. And you will take R3 because they are 3, and series, and DB01 because this is a body difficulty. And this will be valid as 3 separate body difficulty, 3 jetés intronades. Why did I take DB only 01? I do not give for each body difficulty. I just give it for the whole thing one time. This is an exception. Okay. Illusions also is an exception. You can do illusion forward, illusion to the side, illusion backwards. In any direction of the trunk, it's possible. Any direction. We have R3 series because they are 3, DB because it's more than 0.2, 0.1 for catching outside visual. So the value is 0.7. And it's counted only as 1 dB for the dB judge. Why? Because it's without intermediary steps. So this is 1 dB. Here, it's R3 series, also dB, catch of both ends of the rope, and they are counted as 3 dBs because they are with intermediary steps. Okay, so here the first one was without intermediary steps, and the second example was with intermediary steps. So remember, they must be identical, and this exception in the code of points is only for the turning leaps and illusion. Is it allowed to use illusion series and turning leap series in one routine? Yes, it's allowed because they are different. It's no problem. Yes, you can. Illusion can be valid for 1 R and 1 dB in one routine and another place. I don't understand the question. If you can repeat your question, what do you mean by another place? This is a dB. If you choose to use it as a body difficulty in the R, you cannot repeat dB again. You can choose in another R variations as we said, pre-acrobatic number 13, that is not the same as the illusion, but you cannot repeat any body difficulty again in the whole exercise, if I get your question correct. How the risk is valid if there is intermediary step? This is intermediary step exception for illusion. So this is the way it's valid, like you saw in the example, how we calculated it. I show it to you one more time. With intermediary steps, this is the exception for illusion. Yes, you can take the series 0.2 and the dB because it's value of 0.2, and higher you take it one time only. Yes, you are correct. Okay, now we go to the next part, which is additional criteria in R. So you can take additional criteria by adding the number of rotations. So if you have additional rotation in the beginning of the throw, but you have 2 additional rotations under the flight base rotations, you take this additional rotation. If under the 2 base rotations, you have more rotations after, also you take those rotations. Any rotations you fulfill, you take them as long as you have 2 base rotations under the flight. Only remember, it's very important that the catch must be coordinated with any phase of the final rotation. So if the final rotation, I catch and then do the final rotation, this rotation is not valid. I must catch during this rotation or after I finish this rotation. I have the Z, which is the change of level or axis, which is not new. We have it from the last code. And this is only valid one time as now. You cannot take both. We have the series plus 0,2. We spoke about the series for jeté and trunade. We spoke about the series for illusion. You can also take series of 3 or more of identical uninterrupted pre-acrobatic rotation around the frontal or sagittal axis. What does it mean? It means forward walkover, 3 forward rolls, frontal or sagittal axis. It means that for chané, you cannot take series. Blinchik, you cannot take series. Only for frontal or sagittal axes, if you have 3 or more identical. This was a request from the symposium from coaches because they said it's very hard, it's more interesting, it takes long time in the exercise. So we followed the request of the coaches. And this is the only time in the code where you take +2 when you have series. 3 or more identical uninterrupted pre-acrobatic rotations around frontal or sagittal axis. This example. So she met the definition. She has R4, 2 high throw, 2 base rotations under the flight, additional rotations are valid. She has series because she has more than 3, and she coached without hands. So this is value of 0.7. One more time. Does the dive leap plus roll plus 2 more forward rolls give me a series? We have dive leap. It consists of leap plus roll. And then 2 forward rolls. Does this give me series? No. Why? Because a series needs 3 identical pre-acrobatic elements under the flight. So the series with dive leap plus roll dive leap needs another 3 identical elements, forward rolls. So I need another 3 forward rolls, not dive leap plus 2. I need dive leap plus roll plus another 3 forward rolls to take the series. Okay. We have also additional criteria for all apparatus. We have outside visual, we have without the hands, we have under the leg. But what is new here is catch during a rotation. It's only valid when performed together with both criteria, outside visual and without hands. Because this created a lot of confusion currently. Is this catch during? Is this catch during? And it created a gap and difference between the judges, catch during or not. So to be clear, to have both criteria, outside visual and without hands, to take catch during. For outside visual, nothing changed. Only remember the basic is to be behind the head, behind the visual area. But remember, in a back bend position or backward rotational elements, the catching arm must be behind the vertical position because a lot of gymnasts come to catch, they catch in front and then go. No, they have to catch behind the vertical position. For the valid, to be valid for the ball, catching of 2 hands behind the neck is not valid with bent arms. It has to be with straight arms. Also remember that elements performed in front or on the side, they are not considered as outside visual field. These are examples. This is not considered outside visual because the ball is in two hands. This is not considered outside visual because the ball is in two hands. Two hands bent, I mean. Two hands bent. They have to be two hands straight. This is my... But what about if I catch with one hand? It's considered outside visual. Just one hand bent, it's okay to be considered outside visual. It's okay. Direct rebound on the body without any stops from a part of the body. Direct, has to be immediately. It's not allowed to have a direct rebound on the body with the arms or the hands. This is not considered direct rebound because it is with the arms. It is on the body. So arms is not considered or hands. For rebound on the floor and direct retrieval, apparatus retrieved directly from the floor, only valid when performed together with, without hands for hoop and ball. He or she have the rebound from floor with her chest. So this is direct retrieval without hands. For the rethrow or rebound is part of the main action of R. It is necessary to catch this rethrow or rebound of the R to be valid. Any criteria performed during the rethrow or rebound, they are valid. To have this rethrow or rebound, if I do any criteria on it, I will validate them part of the R. But the catch of this rethrow is not valid as part of the R. And I do not give it as a DA. Because in most cases, the height of the rethrow or rebound is not the same height of the initial throw. And I do not take double value. Rethrow of something and catch of something, I take it one time in R and one time as a DA. We finish the R, this is an R. I do not take anything in the second subgroup because this is an R. The second subgroup will not give me anything for this R rethrow. So only the rethrow, I can take criteria on it, but the catch of this rethrow, I cannot take any criteria on it. The boomerang of the ribbon is not valid for a criteria of rethrow in R. R will not be valid with a boomerang performed in any phase, whether the throw or rethrow, because the R must have a release and catch at the end of the stick. I cannot have a boomerang again in the end, so it's not considered as a rethrow in R, the boomerang. We have throw of 2 clubs, unlocked clubs. It's not new, simultaneously, asymmetric or cascade. Asymmetric throws, they can be performed with 1 or 2 hands at the same time. The movements of the clubs during the flight must be of different work. And then we have the catch of 2 unlocked clubs simultaneously. So this is new. Not asymmetric and not cascade. If you catch the 2 clubs simultaneously, because we don't see it anymore, you take additional criteria for this catch. Also new, if you have catch of the club with 1 hand, which holds the 2nd clubs. This is another criteria. Watch it one more time, please. This is R2 only. Why? Because she caught the clubs and then made the 3rd rotation. So she threw outside visual simultaneously. We take 0, 1, 0, 1, R2, and catch the clubs simultaneously. So the value of this R is 0, 5. Okay, so by this we concluded the DB part. I will go to the questions. If we rebound on the floor, the apparatus needs to catch immediately with hands. If the gymnast rebound on the floor but catch with additional bouncing with hand, is it counted as loss of apparatus or catch? It is not counted as a criteria rebound, because as we saw example from the gymnast, 1 caught by the leg and 1 caught from the chest. But if you catch with a bounce with the hand, this is not a rebound. You should not use the hands for a catch of rebound. Okay, so these are the questions that we received. The rest I answered before. Okay, Gyozal, we take 5 minutes break and we start the DA presentation.
Okay, if you can.
Yes, thank you.
Five minutes break.
For me now it's 10:50, so we come back at 11. It's okay. I don't know what time is it for everyone. It's different zones, but we come at the starting of an hour.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Gyozal, you are there or Noha? Because some people, they are confusing. You starting after 1 hour or break 5 minutes? So if you can hear me, please.
No, we start in 5 minutes. The start of an hour, like, because I don't know the time difference and zones. For me now it's 10:52. We start at 11.
Okay, so it's clear now. So it's a break for 5-6 minutes only. Few.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we start after 5-6 minutes. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can we be back? I know you are tired, but we can start. Marwan, have you received the question on WhatsApp that they wanted to share with me?
Actually, I received from Efren. He sent me images for some customs, some wears. He was asking about if they are allowed or not. So I will download them and then I'll share you. Once you just allow me, I will show them for everybody.
Okay, maybe at the end of the presentation we can share it.
Yeah,
so
of
you
course.
can take time. You can take the time to download them and take your time.
Yes, if any person have other question which is related to image or material, please send me to WhatsApp. So and under the image, just write your name so we can refer who is the question for. So you can write also the question on WhatsApp and we can share them at the end of session.
Yes, also I would like to say, if you have further questions that didn't come up to your mind now, you can send them to Gyozal. Gyozal will send them to me, or to Asian Gymnastics Union. They will collect all questions and send them to me, and I will be happy to share them with my technical committee, current one until January, from January with the new one, no problem, and we will answer all questions immediately. Asian Gymnastics Union have my email, Gyozal has my email and number, and they can contact me at any time. No problem, think and give us all the questions at any time. Marwan, can you put your WhatsApp number, because they're asking how can you find you on WhatsApp? So can you put for them your WhatsApp number again, please? Thank you. Okay, now we continue with the DA because I know you are all tired and the time difference zones and everything. So let's continue with the DA part. Now we are another subgroup. Now we are the second subgroup of judges. Take off the hat of what we explained in the morning 5 minutes ago about the DB and the art judges and everything. And now we work with the hat of the second subgroup of judges. Okay. DA of apparatus, minimum 1, maximum 20. For seniors, for juniors, minimum 1, maximum 15. And this goes by performance order, not by the highest. I go count 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, not 6, not really 6, but 5 is the maximum usually. But I count 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 5, 4, like this. In performance order, the maximum is 20. Also, as a judge, I count the fundamental apparatus elements. Okay, for hoop, if we open the code, we have now requirements for every apparatus. Why did we do this? Because we don't see difference between every apparatus. And we require some fundamentals to be required either 2 times or some required 1 time. So for the hoop, we require 2 large rope of the hoop over 2 large segments. We require 2 rotations of the hoop around its axis, around the fingers, or around the part of the body. 1 time, minimum 1, you can do 3 if you want in the exercise, but at least minimum 1 rotation of the hoop around the hand or around part of the body. here, on the neck, on the arm, but minimum 1. And minimum 1 passing through the hoop with the whole body or part of the body, but minimum 2 large segments. What is the minimum 2 large segments for passing of the hoop? It's head and neck. This is my head and neck, plus the trunk. You cannot say the head is 1 segment and the trunk is another segment. This is 1 segment and the trunk is another segment. Arms and trunk. The arm and the trunk of the body. This is 1 segment, second segment. Trunk and leg, the full leg. We once received the question that the gymnast is very tall, so her leg is 2 segments. It's not counted like this. The leg is 1 segment. Okay, the large roll, what is 2 large segments? From right hand to left hand. I know we have the Russian school, the Bulgarian school, we have many schools, but we decided that from right hand to left hand or left hand to right hand, these are the 2 large segments. So from arm to shoulder are not 2 large segments. It needs to go from hand to hand, from hand to back, to use the trunk. Or trunk to legs, again, 2 large segments. So for hoop, it's clear. Again, as we explained, the non-fundamental, rebound on the floor after a high throw and direct retrieval using different parts of the body, not the hands, like we explained before, not the hands. This is a direct rebound from the floor, must be without the hands or arms. She has a direct rebound from the floor. Or the ball. We need, again, 2 large rolls of the ball. We need 2 figure 8s of the ball with circle movements of the arms. We were asked, how can we have 2 different figure 8s? You can have it 1 time inside, you can have it 1 time outside, but we did not say they have to be different for identifying fundamentals, but to have them in body difficulty, they have to be different. So if I'm just doing a dance step with figure 8, another dance step with figure 8, they can be the same. But if I'm using both figure 8s in body difficulties, they have to be different. Catch of the ball with 1 hand, it's clear. And bounces, we know them. Series, minimum 3 of small bounces or 1 high bounce. This is no change. For the table of bases and criteria for balls, you cannot combine catch and catch of ball with 1 hand and catch with a rebound, cannot be combined together. You take only 1 base related to the catch from a high throw. Only 1 base is valid. This is catch with 1 hand. You don't take catch and catch with 1 hand. Okay. It's possible to combine the bases, catch from a high throw with a rebound on the body. This is a combined base. Catch with a rebound. Again, one more time. For clubs, for the fundamentals, we have requirement of 2 mills. 1 mill consists of a minimum of 4 to 6 small circles of the clubs with time delay and by alternating crossed and uncrossed wrists. So we need 2 mills. We need 2 small throws of unlocked 2 clubs with 360 degrees rotation and catch. We need 1 asymmetric movement and we need 1 small circle. For the mills, a mill is composed of a minimum of 4 small circles, 2 on each side as an example. We have vertical mills and we have horizontal mills. The asymmetric movements. Clubs must be 1 in each hand. No throws. So we cannot count asymmetric throws as a fundamental of asymmetric. Asymmetric and cascade throws of 2 unlocked clubs are not considered asymmetric movements. The small rotations with time delay or performed in different directions are not considered also as asymmetric movements. Then we have the roll over minimum 2 large body parts with 1 or 2 clubs. This is considered as a non-fundamental. And the roll of 1 or 2 clubs on a part of the body or on the floor, it's also a non-fundamental with 1 club. Be attentive to the mills. This is 1 set. Okay? When we go to the DA table, which is on page 57, it's called mills, not mill. So it's 2 sets of circles. So to take a DA of 0.4 for clubs, it's required to have 2 sets of mills. This is 1 set. This is the definition, a mill. But to take a DA requires minimum of 2 sets of circles. The table, it says mills. So 1 mill consists of a minimum 4 to 6 circles, but you need mils, which means 2 sets. 2 sets is a minimum of 8 circles. So this we explained, no throws to validate the fundamental requirement. No throws. For ribbon, we need 2 spirals or swordsmen, which can be 1 spiral or 1 swordman, or 2 swordsmen or 2 spirals. 2 snakes. Remember that spirals and snakes, as I explained you, according to the definition, must be for minimum 4 to 5 loops of spirals, and for snakes, minimum 4 to 5 waves. We need 1 boomerang. Release and pull back of the stick by holding the end of the ribbon. So the ribbon must be in the hand. Be attentive to the definition of boomerang. You cannot release the end of the ribbon. And échappé is the rotation of the ribbon stick. How you exit from the swordsman is optional. But you need to have a swordsman with spirals inside, 4 spirals performed. This is an example. How she exits is optional. This is definition of the boomerang. The release of the stick in the air or on the floor, the end of the ribbon is held by the hand or another part of the body. This is not a boomerang. Why? Because she released the end of the ribbon from her hand. So this is not considered a boomerang. We have something in the table of bases and criteria for ribbon, which is high throw from sliding on the floor, sliding movement. This is a high throw from a sliding movement of the ribbon on the floor before a throw. This is an example. So we have minimum 2 of each specific apparatus fundamental. For each missing one is penalty 0.3. For the fundamental apparatus elements, which is required minimum 1, we have a penalty also of 0.3 for each missing. Non-fundamental apparatus elements. We have high throws of the apparatus, more than 2 heights of the standing gymnast. High throw of 2 clubs. Catch of the apparatus from the flight of a high throw. And catch of the 2 clubs from the flight of a high throw. And you can see the body height here, how we can check double the height. 1 height, 2 height. And we check it here from the point of release. The small throw and catch of the apparatus from the flight is close to the body. So we have the high throw and we have the small throw. There is no more medium throw. We delete this from the code because it created a lot of confusion, a lot of differences between the judges. So anything that is not more than 2 heights of the standing gymnast. Example, thrust, push into the air, rebounds on the body, apparatus dropped from a height, free fall, catch of 1 club with or without 360 duration for a throw of 1 club, for throw of 2 clubs locked together with or without 360-degree rotation, small throw. These are all throws and rebounds that are considered small throw and catch. Okay. There is also the question that we received today that I want to answer before we move to the unstable. Before, we used to have throw of the clubs like this around its axis. Yes? But now it's not on the table. Small throws of 2 unlocked clubs. Small throws of 2 locked clubs. Small throw and catch. Throw, thrust, push, rebound of the body. High throw with 2 clubs. Catch of the club from the flight of a high throw. Catch of the club from the flight and catch nothing of the clubs itself with rotation around its axis. And we only speak about high throw of 2 clubs and catches, and nothing is mentioned about this. Why? Because usually it is not clear if the club is coming up like this or the club really is rotating up like this or like this. And this also created a lot of differences and gaps between the judges. If it's rotating around its axis or it's just up like this. And when you come to judge the video again, it is not clear how it is. So you cannot judge, do you give it in favor of the gymnast? Was this judge correct? Was this judge wrong? So this type of throw was eliminated for the clubs because it is not visible for the judges 13 meters away from the gymnast on the carpet to see it. In the hoop, it remains because of course you can see throw, high throw with rotation around the axis. Of course, with the hoop, you can see around its axis. But for clubs, you cannot see the axis rotating or not rotating. Do I answer the question from the one who asked about the question of the clubs? I'm not showing anything. We cannot see what you're showing. I was just using my pen and explaining. Natalia, I didn't show any videos. I was just answering a question that I received in the morning, and I asked her to wait until we come to this part in the presentation. So I don't remember who asked me. Did I answer your question correctly? This is what you meant? Okay. You can still hear me, yes?
Yes, we hear you. Oh.
Okay, perfect. Then maybe the judge or the coach who asked this question is not here anymore. Okay. Okay, she understands the question. She answered on the chat. Okay, now we go to the unstable balance. There is nothing new with the unstable balance except that we categorize them. On the top on the foot, open palm, during a DB with rotation with ball, only with ball when it is not squeezed with one body segment, on the neck, but not on the back. There is a difference between the neck and the back, only during a body rotation. It is not possible to have it on the neck during a jump or a balance difficulty. This is only allowed during body rotation. When one club held in a position of unstable is considered valid as an unstable, but the second club must execute a technical movement. Also, when one club is balanced on the other club is considered as an unstable balance during the body rotation. All of this is nothing new. You can see here. This is valid because the ball is held against the forearm. It's a technical execution mistake, 0.1, but it is valid. Different unstable positions from one club held by the other on the outsider of the hand during a rotation. One club held by the other on the inner side, like this, is not considered as an unstable balance. Why? Because the judge sitting there, usually the gymnasts are catching one club by the other club. It's not unstable. We can see the examples. So the inner side is not acceptable, but the outer side is acceptable. If we go and stop the position, this is an inner side. You see how she catches both clubs with her hands. So if I made the pause now, you can see in this position, the gymnast catches the clubs both with her hands. And usually it's more worse than this. They catch both of them closed. So this inner club side is not allowed. The outer side is allowed as unstable position. If I go like this, the outer side position. This is a valid unstable balance of the ball. This is possible. This is not possible because it is squeezed between two large segments. You cannot have the hoop in this position. This is a valid unstable balance of the ball during a body rotation. So now we take the difficulty of apparatus. The DA requires a technical apparatus element. We need a base performed with the specific criteria to the apparatus. We need for the seniors, minimum 1, maximum 20, as I explained earlier. Additional DA will not be evaluated. So we received the question. If I missed number 19, can I take number 21? If I lost the apparatus in number 19, can the judge take for me number 21? No, I cannot take for you number 21. If you missed number 19 due to a loss, due to a technical fault, due to apparatus not according to definition, I count in performance order 20. For juniors is minimum 1, maximum 15. I need 1 base plus 2 criteria to be fulfilled, to be counted. 1 base plus 2 criteria. Remember that not all fundamentals and non-fundamental apparatus elements are included in the bases. Not all of them. So the coach have to check the table very, very well for the bases of fundamental and non-fundamental for hoop, ball, clubs, and ribbon and rope. What does it mean, combined bases? Combined bases means that I have 2 bases, but in a moment, there is an overlap between them. There is a time phase between them, both of them. One of the 2 bases must have 2 valid criteria in addition to the moment of the overlap. Let's check. What do we have here? Overlap. Roll and throw. A moment of overlap between catch and large roll. There is a moment of overlap. The roll begins at the same moment of the catch, not catch and then roll. So there is a moment between them. How do we evaluate it? We take the highest base, 0.4, plus 0.1 for the second base. So the highest is large roll, 0.4. The catch from a high throw is 0.3. So we take the highest base, which is 0.4, plus 0.1 for the second base, which is 0.5. The total of the DA. One more time. The value of the base determines the value of the DA. So here we have a roll, outside visual in an element of rotation. My criterias are outside visual, element of rotation, and the large roll is my base. So the DA value is 0.4. One more time. Here I have a catch, 0.3, large roll, 0.4, outside visual in an element of rotation. So the highest base is 0.4. I have a second base of 0.1. So this DA value is value of 0.5. have a roll on the floor. I have a throw. I have a rotation. I have outside visual without hands. It's okay. I have enough criteria. I only need 2. 0-2 for the highest base, which is the throw. Roll on the floor is 0-1 for the second base. So this DA value is 0-3. I take the highest is 0-2 plus 0-1 for the additional base. Here we have a rotation of the hoop. In a DB, outside visual without hands, I have enough criteria, and I have a small throw. So this value of this DA is 0-3, 0-2, the highest base plus 0-1. So this value of this DA as a combined is 0-3. I have a catch in a DB, outside visual without hands, and a rebound on the body. So it's a 0-3 plus a 0-1. This DA value is 0-4. I have a combined base, large roll, outside visual, and a catch. I have 2 segments of large roll. I have a catch. So large roll is the highest base plus catch. So it's a 0-5. Here I have a large roll and a throw. So the large roll is the highest base and the throw. So this value of this base is 0.5. Uncombined bases examples. What does it mean, uncombined bases? It means that the large circle is integrated to the passing through, to the gymnast passing through. So you cannot have a combination of large circle and passing through. It's not possible. So this DA is only 0.2. Here we have combined base mills. Remember, minimum 2 mills, 2 sets, plus small throw. She didn't stop her mills to do the small throw. There was a continuity. Look at it. 0.4, the highest, which is mills, and 0.1 for the second base. Look at this example. The same, mills plus small throw with continuity. Not combined. Why? Here. Because she stopped the mills and then made the small throw. So we cannot say these are combined. Let's check this one. Look at the continuity to make combined. Immediately. But here, she stopped to throw. One base ends and then the second base begins. No moment of overlap. Consecutive same bases. This is very important. We have it now, and we remind you again in the code of points, in this new code of points. The same base performed in the same body apparatus relationship for two or more consecutive body element difficulties will only validate the first DA. You cannot do them after each other. Maybe in separate parts in the routines, but they cannot be after each other. They only validate one. She had it here in the first walkover and then in the body difficulty. It cannot give her two DAs. It will give her only one DA. She did not change her arm position. Criteria on the floor is very important because now position on the floor is different. Position on the floor must have the full trunk, must be lying flat on the floor. All trunk must be lying on the floor. If you are facing up or down or to the side, but everything must be on the floor, full trunk. To have a valid position, the whole body, the trunk must be on the floor. Positions on the knee like this, like the last example, are not valid for a position on the floor. Regarding lying lateral roll, this body rotates laterally, lying on the floor from the beginning to the end of the rotation. If this type is performed from beginning to end, lying on the floor, it validates criteria floor and rotation. You take both. When a variation is performed from the knee, like you stand on the knee, end on the knee, or like this, then it is not a floor criteria. Example for on the floor.
Okay, probier mal aus. Okay, probier mal aus.
Rotation of the axis of the hoop on the rotation and position on the floor. It's okay because the trunk is on the floor. What we don't give position on the floor, the trunk was not fully on the floor. So this is not considered position on the floor. Can be considered many things: catch, passing through, with a wave or through the hoop, without hands, outside visual as criteria. 0.3 plus 0.1 for the second base, 0.4 DA, but this is not position on the floor. Here we have a DA, no. Why? Because we have a catch under the leg, but this is not a position on the floor. Missing one criteria. So this DA is 0. We need another DA, we need another criteria to be validated as a DA. Let's see which is valid DA. Only the second example is valid. Why? Because it has a second criteria. The first example has only one criteria, throw under the leg. But the second example has throw under the leg and catch without hands. Small throw and catch, you can take on the throw or on the catch. But the first one does not have a second criteria. The full body wave. We have this new as a criteria. Provided that the wave is performed by the whole body. A full body wave from the dB table will be counted only as wave, not dB and not rotation if applicable. So if I have a wave from the dB table, it will be only counted as a wave. I will not take 3 criteria: rotation, wave, and dB. No. So if I have a wave from the body difficulty table to be criteria, I will only validate it as a wave. I will not give it a dB. I will not give it a rotation. Difficulty of body. Criteria of difficulty of body. They are performed with a dB with a value of 0.1 or more. If I have a dB, like passé pivot, like passé jump, they are only counted as a dB. Like jeté jump, I only give dB. I do not give dB and rotation, no. They only take dB because you cannot perform them without their characteristics of a body difficulty. So they are already given the criteria of a dB. Or if they are performed with a position on the floor, you will not take dB and position on the floor. You will only take dB. During fauteuil balance or during fauteuil pivot, you can only ask for 1 DA element. Combined difficulties. If each component of the combined difficulty performed is according to the DA requirements, you can ask for a DA on each DB. For rotations, this is new for DA. They must be 360 degrees, a minimum of 360 degrees. Is this criteria valid for DB, which include a rotation? No, we said we only give DB, but we do not give rotation. DB may not be used as an element of rotation. They are only used as a DB. Like this example. Beautiful attitude pivot. You do not give DB and rotation. You only give criteria of DB. So she needs to have another criteria, which is outside of visual field. You cannot give her element of rotation here, only DB. Okay, the criteria DB may be used a maximum of 9 times in the exercise. They are evaluated in performance order. So I have 20 DAs. My maximum are 9 times DB evaluated in performance order. Doesn't matter if they are 0.1 or 0.7 or my DB is 1 point. They are evaluated in performance order. The first 9 DA that include DB are my maximum DB. If I have another DA that will have DB, but with another how can I say, outside visual without hands, blah, 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 will not be valid. I will only take the first 9. Evaluated in performance order. Okay. We also have a maximum of 3 pre-acrobatic elements from different groups of pre-acrobatics. So they are performed with the criteria rotation. They can be the same that I used in R or different than the ones I used in R because we are different subgroups. Only the first pre-acrobatic elements evaluated in performance order, the first 3 will be evaluated. Presence of a pre-acrobatic element in a DA element is evaluated regardless of how many additional criteria are executed. Doesn't matter if I had outside visual without hands, with a rebound, blah, blah, blah. Criteria inside doesn't matter for me as long as I have a pre-acrobatic. I will only count the first 3. A repetition of the same pre-acrobatic element group performed in 2 or 3 separate DA elements will not be valid. Also, the DA will not be valid regardless of the number of additional criteria performed. So be attentive of the number of pre-acrobatics in DAs. Doesn't matter how many additional criteria you have, only the first 3 will be evaluated. The same pre-acrobatic element can be used in DA and in R, as these, as I explained, are separate judges panel. We did not mention in DA vertical rotations limitation. They are not limited. So you can use chanet how you want. Doesn't matter. Blinchik how you want. Be attentive only for your artistic penalties because the exercise will not have any variety. So be attentive only for this, but vertical rotations, because they are not easily seen for the judges and there are 20 DAs. So we analyzed when we saw with the judges, it's not possible to be seen. That's why vertical rotations are not limited. For the swordsman, if you exit with small throw or échappé, this will be a combined base of swordsman because you have spirals with stick inside the pattern overlapping with the small throw and échappé. That's why we said that the exit is free. If you add a small throw or échappé, you take combined base. The DA elements will not be valid in the following cases. Not performed according to its definition. Remember, 2 large roll mills, 2 mills, spirals, all of this according to the definition. Loss of apparatus during a DA element. More than 9 DA with DB criteria. They are evaluated in performance order. More than 3 DA with pre-acrobatic elements as rotation criteria evaluated in performance order. The pre-acrobatic element from the same group performed in more than 1 DA. It will not be evaluated. Loss of balance with support on one or both hands or on the apparatus. Total loss of balance. Performed a DA during an R phase, which is not possible. You cannot perform any DA during R. And by this, we conclude the DA. What about the roll of the hoop and the passing through the hoop at the end of the roll? Is it considered combined? If we have a moment of overlap between them, and you can see that there is an overlap, then it is possible, combined. Is it possible to request presentation materials? This presentation is recorded, but the material itself, we cannot send it because this is FIG material. So you will receive the video of this from the Asian Gymnastics Union. Are there any restrictions on the use of vertical rotations during DA? I believe I answered the no, there is no limitations. You can use how much you want, there is no limitations. I believe by this I have answered the questions on the chat. And Marwan, if you would like to share the questions that you received. Marwan, are you with us?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, okay.
So there is the one question over the WhatsApp. There is Mr. Let me just check the correct name. Okay. He's sending more messages now. Okay. Okay. Mr. Efren Torres from Philippines. He's asking about the leotards. So I want to show some leotards he has sent. Okay. And he is asking if it's, I think his question is it allowed or not? Okay, so let me download the latest one he has shared. There's 2 extra. Okay, then I'll share the screen. Okay, here you go. So I'll share now. Okay, so I think you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, here is the images, so I'll show them all. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Noha, you can answer if you like.
Yeah, I just want you to put them back on the screen, following one by one, please, so I can give him answer.
Okay, so this is the first one.
The first one, only the pelvic area needs to be covered more, but in general, the line of the hip, it comes to the bones. So it's okay, the lines of the hip, only the pelvic area needs to be covered more. The second one is okay. The third one is okay because it's covering the pelvic area. The fourth one, it should also cover the pelvic area, but the rest of the thing is okay, it's fine.
This one you already commented, Noha?
Yes.
Okay, so we go for next one.
The lines up are okay, only the pelvic area needs to be covered with the material to cover it all. And this one is okay.
Last one.
Is okay.
Yeah, that's all.
So you understand the principle that the pelvic area should be covered and the beige should only come to the hip bones, so it's okay. So by now we conclude the difficulty part. I believe you are all tired and you cannot go for artistry in 1 hour, or you want to go in artistry. Gyozal, it's up to you. Let me know, please.
I think artistry for tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Artistry
Okay.
and groups, yes.
Okay. Sorry again for this inconvenience, but please tell me what time is it now in Tashkent time?
Tomorrow 9 o'clock in the morning. But for you is very early.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. What time is it now in Tashkent?
Now 3 3 p.m.
So we are different of 3 hours.
3 hours, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
with Cairo, yes. So let us just clear something for tomorrow, Noha, please. Okay.
Yes, sure.
Tomorrow 10 o'clock, yes, Marwan?
Yeah, tomorrow I think. Oh, you can. Okay, 1 minute, please.
But 10 is only for one session. If you want, I can come earlier 9 so we can do artistry.
Yes, exactly. This is what I want to explain. So let me check what exactly the time for tomorrow, the sent one. Okay, so okay,
if you know her 9, okay, please. We'll start 9.
So tomorrow the officially for tomorrow session it will start 10 o'clock of Tashkent time. Okay. So if you like to make it longer, so we have to start from 9. 9, that means it's 3 hours less, 6 o'clock morning in Cairo time.
No problem, no problem.
So we can start tomorrow. We have to change, or we keep 10 o'clock, or we have to change. So everybody don't have any confusion.
Okay, thank you.
Gyozal, so we start 10 o'clock as scheduled, or we make it 1 hour before?
1 hour before.
Okay, so everybody, I will send updated meeting now, okay? So tomorrow we start 9 morning Tashkent time, okay? So it will be changed. It will be the session for tomorrow. It will start 1 hour before. So I will send updated email for everybody now for tomorrow session.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you, Marwan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Noha, for you, thank you so much for your webinar today, for part of webinar. I hope you took a lot of useful information and new code of points.
Yes, thank you so much, Gyozal, for giving this opportunity for everyone in Asia. Please think more of the questions. I will be available tomorrow also with you, and we can discuss more if you have more questions.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
See you tomorrow.
For everybody.
Okay, thank you everybody, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Bye, everyone.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
这个给他们打开的。
小青老师，
我们明天现在确定的还是明天9点是艺术，然后是
ขอบคุณครับ
哎，老师们还在吗？
在。
拜拜。
在的。那个，那我们今天。